Hi everyone, Plastic EP here from Melbourne. I've got a worldwide exclusive for you. Let me do the introductions for you. First, I'd like to say hello to ELAINE Presley. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you, Plastic EP. How are you?
I'm well. And I've also got the CC twins, Kathy and Colleen there, and we're all ready to go. So here we go for our worldwide exclusive. How are you today, Kathy? I'll let you take it away.
It's totally fantastic. We have an exciting show today. ELAINE Presley is going to have a huge reveal, and we're going to be included in this as well. Our surprise as well happens, so we can't wait to reveal it. Plastic, and we're all
I'm waiting too. My ears, this is going to be riveting. My ears, I can't wait. So Kathy, just take it away now.
Okay, well, I'd love to introduce ELAINE Elizabeth Presley, and she's got excellent reveal, and she's going to reveal it to the whole world.
All right.
Woohoo!
ELAINE.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right, who wants to kick off the show now? Will you start, Kathy?
Yes. Well, ELAINE and Presley, Colleen and I, we only have known each other for a mere maybe 1 or 2 months at the most, and it's just been exciting. We didn't realize that we had more of an connection than we do, but I'd like ELAINE to explain it, if you could, please. ELAINE Presley.
Yes, Kathy and Colleen are actually cousins of mine. So they're here today as cousins as well as friends.
And,
That's amazing.
Right.
Yes.
Well, it started out that I contacted ELAINE because she knew a friend of ours, and I mentioned about a dream that I had where my dad connected us to her dad, Elvis Presley, after my dad had passed, and then we progressed from there. ELAINE.
That's right. And then we ran our DNA, and then we were connected as cousins. So now we're cousins, and we've been connecting quite a bit of family too, which has been very exciting. And it also led me to design my latest program. I'll explain to that in a minute.
Well, wonderful, wonderful. So we connected through your dad, my dad, our dad, and now we're cousins. And it's cousins through the Presley side, as well as possibly through your mom's side.
Possibly there's some hints of it, but we haven't, found that properly yet. But definitely dad's side, but maybe mum's side too, because of Olsen.
So ELAINE, how long have you been doing this, the DNA?
Well, when I came home, I had my DNA run by lots of official people and the government too, and so I couldn't see the DNA, and people kept saying to me, show your DNA. Well, I couldn't because I didn't have access to those records. They don't share those records, but nobody ever said I had to leave my family, which was good. So I needed to run my own DNA. So I ran my DNA. So I figured, well, I'm not just going to run one DNA company. I'm going to run them all. So I want to make sure I cover this thing 100%, So if there's anything wrong or anything, I can take a look at that and find out from over all those DNA companies. So that's what I did. I ran all the DNA companies and studied for well over 2 years, great detail of how the whole thing worked, just to make sure everything connected correctly. And sure enough, along the way, I met so many wonderful cousins, and I was finally able to, after a period of time of 2 years, to put everything together, because a lot of the cousins immediately don't show up. Sometimes they run the DNA later. And so there was a couple of cousins that ran the DNA later, or they showed up later on my DNA, that helped put all the pieces together to my whole entire family. And that I can explain to you as well.
Now, it is interesting. We were talking about Native American roots, and we looked at the same thing in our DNA. But now that's difficult to find. Is that correct, ELAINE?
Yeah, it's very difficult to find Native American in DNA because there's not enough Native American DNA really in there. Even though they do detect it, they do show it. It's not really, solid yet. But however, how we connect through how we know that I'm related and my father's related Native American is because of our DNA and the ancestors we're connected to. So you look at those ancestors we're connected to, and then you can trace that to where your DNA says you're located, and then that area of the country or the world will let you know what part of Native American that you are, And so in our case, because it's from 10, because a lot of my DNA, over 80% of my cousins are around Tennessee, Virginia, and Mississippi, and areas like that, it makes my DNA, makes me Native American from DNA. But that is actually still argumentable because there isn't enough DNA yet to really 100% prove that. However, I do believe it's 100% proven by our cousins that are related and that are actual Native Americans and what tribes they belong to. And I am related to those on the Cherokee side. And so are you, I do believe. I know you are.
Yeah, right. Wow.
So
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
just recently.
Yeah.
What else can we add to this now? What is our next topic?
Okay. Basically, what I did is for quite a long time, obviously I've been home since 2013, and I hadn't run my DNA when I first came home. I didn't actually run my DNA to 2017. And so when I ran my DNA in 2017, I ran all the companies, put them all together and studied extensively, like I said, for 2 years on that. And also was matched up via DNA, also by the DNA companies as well. So that told me also who I was. But then I needed to really investigate because I needed to find out how this happened by being born in, Colchester, Essex, England, and my dad's in America. And then I find out 80% of my cousins are from America, and a large portion of that 80% is from Tennessee, Virginia, and Mississippi, and those sort of areas as well. Of course, there are some from England, Holland, Germany, France, different place, different areas, Scotland and Wales as well, and Ireland, it's all in there as well. But then you have to look at the DNA, and you have to look at the cousins, you have to trace the cousins, from your beginning through your tree. I was lucky enough that some very close family in England from my adopted family, that wasn't really adopted actually now because my mother in England was my cousin, and she connects, I really didn't pick up on it, that she looked a lot like Minnie May Hood. And also the sister in England that that's supposed to be my sister, her daughter looks like Minnie May too, and I didn't pick up on that, but I have recently. I was like, wow, I was blown away, and it turns out that they are all actual cousins, not actual my mum and dad and sister and brother in that actual fact in that area. And I linked up to my cousins in England that linked to Huffman, Smith, and Wright and Hood. And then I linked to my first, second, third, and fourth cousins that linked all the way through up into Hood, over to America. This links my entire family. However, saying this, and you tell people this, especially in the world, when I haven't been home, for all these years, and there's not been anything about me really, hardly anywhere. It's very difficult when you say to people, when you say to the fans who love our father, you say to them, I'm Elaine Presley by DNA, you get back this response, no, you're not, or something like that. And of course, a lot of people do believe because I look like my mum and dad too, so they know I am. But there's a lot that do not. And so I didn't want to come out and say, look, here's my DNA, here's all the stuff, and this is who I am, because people just, they have a negative reaction to that. So I wanted something easier. It took a long time for me to design that. And so when I met, Kathy and Colleen, and then we realized we're cousins as well, then the idea started to come into play. And so what I designed actually is Our Family Connection. It's called Our Family Connection. And this is a wonderful program, and I'm really proud of this program. And I know all of our cousins and family will want to know about this and want to be part of this. And would you like to hear how Our Family Connection works?
Yeah.
You would? Okay, well, Our Family Connection works very simply, okay? Now, this is a message to the world. If you think you are related to Elvis Presley, I want you to run your DNA. If you know you're related to Elvis Presley, I want you to run your DNA. Then what I want you to do is follow these simple instructions. I want you to take that DNA, the raw files, 37 build. You can download it on whatever DNA website you choose, like Ancestry or whatever. There's lots of them, 23andMe and lots of other ones as well, Family Tree DNA, and all sorts of DNA companies. You can download that DNA when you get it back in, and then you can go to gedmatch.com. That's GEDMATCH.com. Then you can upload that build into Gedmatch. When you do, they're going to give you a kit number. And you note down that kit number. You wait 24 hours and you go back in, and on the right-hand side, you will see one-to-one, as it's called isonomal DNA. So one-on-one isonomal on the right-hand side. You click on that and you put in your kit number. Then you put in our family kit number, which links to me, which is T061288. Again, that's T061288. This is my DNA, okay? My actual DNA. And this is one of the kit numbers from Gedmatch, but links to family tree DNA. And there's other ones too, like 23andMe, Ancestry, and all the others down there have those kit numbers too, but you only need one because it's all the same DNA. It's slightly changed and different companies run different parts of DNA, but they're pretty much all the same. When you go to the one-on-one isonomal DNA, you're going to see a lot of blank spaces. What you need to worry about is look at the centimeters, and what you put in there 3. The reason why is they normally have it from 7. So if you're, say, a fourth or fifth cousin, it wouldn't pick you up. But if you put in 3, it'd take you about around 30 cousins, 30 of cousins, 30, you know, like 1 first cousin, second cousin, third cousin, fourth cousin, fifth cousin, sixth cousin, and it'll take you up to about 30 cousins. So if you're related in any way to our family, basically what will happen is it will show you where you need that. If you're first of all, it'll show you if you're related to me, and then you can take that DNA and you can see in that same company match 1 or 2 kits. So again, you run your DNA and those companies, download the DNA and your kit number. You download your DNA, the 37 build, you upload it to Gedmatch, that will give you a kit number, wait 24 hours, go to the right side, one-on-one isonomal DNA, put your kit number in, put mine in, and then put 3 in where it says the centimeters, and then click, you know, and it will show if you're related, show exactly if you're matched and related. Then you can take that and you can put that in any like family search or something like that, and put in your family members, and you can actually find out where you're related to and how the tree builds. You can also go to Family Finder's website as well. It's called, what's that website called again, Kathy? I
think there's Family Search, I think.
Family Search, then the other one that was, there's another one, isn't there? Remember you go to the other one to build a tree, what's that called?
It's Relative Search.
Relative Finder, yeah, Relative, thank you. RelativeFinder.org. If you then put your whole family tree in RelativeFinder.org, and then you put in also our information too, which you can, we'll put that on my website actually, so you can know how to do that too. Then you can actually build the tree, and you can see exactly how you're related from the parents and or from the relatives in your family directly to our family, and where it connects all the way down to our father or my mother in actual fact as well. So that's how you can do that. So basically what this does is not me saying to you, you know, shouting out all the time, which is not a good thing. I don't like doing that anyway. I like to be kind of reserved. But you can take my DNA, and if you know you're related to Elvis Presley, and I have some of the Smith cousins, come on down, bring your DNA, and put it in there, and then match me, and you'll see we're related exactly where we need to be related. If you think you're not, if you don't know if you're related, give it a try. You might be related to our father and me, and then you can, and our mother even maybe, and then you can see for yourself. So basically, what this is going to do is this is going to build a worldwide family web. See, from our family connection, and when you have done that, and if you find out you're family, or if you're not family, you just want to be a fan and a friend, then you can just go to my website, and you can on the front page, you enter your email address, and you'll get all the updates of what's going on within my career, and also what I'll be doing with Graceland as well. And also, because you are family, or you're a fan or a friend, I will be inviting you to Graceland as well, you know, so you can come and see Graceland, and so you can see the history of Elvis Presley and your latest cousin that you now know you have. Or if you knew you had and you've never been to Graceland, you can then, you can then come to Graceland that way as well. Now, I'm not saying you have to come to Graceland, because obviously we're not going to require you to do that by being a cousin or a fan or a friend. I'm just saying it's instantly lovely to know that when you realize you're, related to Elvis Presley, and if you knew you were related to Elvis Presley and haven't been to Graceland lately, isn't that a great thing to plan for the future? This Our Family Connection program will connect hundreds of thousands, because there are hundreds of thousands of cousins. Connect hundreds of thousands of cousins all over the world into one beautiful, wonderful family. And this is our program, my program that I designed, and our program as a family for you.
Amazing. I just want to say, for the CC twins, what was it like going through the process, and how shocked were you when you found out that you're related?
Well, it happened so quickly with Elaine and us. As a matter of fact, as soon as I put my DNA in Gedmatch.com, I text her. She said, text me. As soon as I text her, she said, you're related to my dad's side or whatever. Are you related? And then we found out it was dad's side at first.
Do you know how far removed you are as far as numbers, you know, how many cousins away or whatever?
Well, it's hard to tell because everyone that you match up with is maybe a little.
I think you're around fifth cousin, something like that, and that's what it seems to say, because it's like one generation away. So from fifth so you're around. I'm pretty sure it's fifth cousin. Once we link all the total tree, and you'll be able to see exactly what you are, because it will tell you exactly what you are. And for me, it was very exciting. And as you know, the funny thing is, when I first had my DNA results, I put them in the DA system. You think, oh, you have to wait for hours, but it's not. It's like, boom, this is who you are. This is all your names. Now, the other thing about DNA, which I want to say to you, is you can't just put in the family name Presley in the DNA system and expect you to come up as Presley, okay, if you're not Presley in your DNA. So basically, DNA is not run off surnames. You can't like put a load of surnames in and say, this is my family, because DNA will tell you the surnames you're related to. And so DNA, in my case, was related to all the, the Presley, the Wallace, the Smith, the Wright, the Huffman, the Hood, and all the way down, all the way down the line, really. And then when I first put in my first father, the one I thought was my father of most of my life, he didn't come up at all, And then I still, because you have a father all your life, and you think, this is my dad, don't you? And then it takes a long time, even when you see the DNA, to be convinced. That's why it took me 2 years of research. And it wasn't to some very close family on that side ran the DNA and showed they were, actual fact, great aunt or uncle. It says first cousin once removed, but it's really great aunt, uncle in this particular case. And it is a flux rate with the percentage of DNA on centimeters. They go by centimeters, centimorgans, they call them, centimorgans, sorry. And it's a fluctuation that could be between those, but this case it's definitely the great aunt or uncle, and that connected, because the reason I know that is because I connected the other cousins that I have exactly where they're supposed to be after the Hoods and the Smiths, which have connected me all the way down the line. But until I actually had that really close family, connections, I was like, well, I'm still not 100% sure here. But then the DNA companies themselves built the tree as well on their own and said, boom, this is who your father is, Elvis Presley. Boom, this is who your mother is, Priscilla Presley, and stuff like that. So with all that over 2 years, and so many, I've got thousands of cousins now, that are connected and related and built within the tree, that it is correct and everything is correct. So, so basically when you run your DNA, you'll run your DNA against mine.
I just want to say, ladies, this worldwide interview has been fascinating. I'd like to thank you, Elaine, for your time. I'd like to thank the CC twins, and I want them all to keep in touch with you out there, Elaine. If there's any other links you'd like to mention now before we end it, please do.
Yes, the links are gedmatch.com, Gedmatch.com is where you'll be going once you run the DNA from one of the DNA companies. And the other link, of course, is ELAINEPRESLEY.com. You can go there, and when you see the front email thing, our family connection, register your email there so you can get updates from me as well about what we're doing within our family. Then, of course, if you find that you are not related and you're still an Elvis fan, you can come to Graceland at Graceland.com to book your visit there. And if you are, and we'll treat you like family anyway. And if you are, remember, all fans are friends as well. So, and if you are family, then you may or may not want to come to Graceland. I'm sure you probably will. Again, it's Graceland.com to book your visit for that too. And if you want to talk to me, then you can come to one of my shows or what's something that I'm doing, and you're very welcome to do that,
Fantastic, ladies. I'd like to thank you again. And to the world, We'll see you. Bye.